James, to the 12 tribes scattered. Now remember, the Jews were scattered, especially the Christian Jews. They were scattered. They were chased by Paul himself. But James to the 12 tribes. Now notice that James was the head of the church in Jerusalem, Judea, Jerusalem. James said to Paul, as Paul was telling him about the Gentile converts in Acts chapter 21, you see all these Jewish Christians here, and they're all zealous for the law. And they've heard about you, Paul, who teach everybody not to circumcise, not to not follow Moses' law, and not to circumcise. And they're not happy with you, Paul. So you look at the beginning of the book of James, where it says James to the 12 tribes. And you look at the idea in Galatians chapter 2, where it says men from James were giving the Gentile believers some problems. Acts chapter 14 talks about Antioch, Iconium, and Lystra, where Jews that came from Antioch, basically came from Judea, were giving Christians who were Gentiles problems about following the law of Moses. And so now we have a conflict, because we have James writing a book not to the Gentiles, but to the Jews that are scattered about, that are being taught this doctrine, this heretical doctrine of not following the law of Moses. And you look at the fact that James is a very legal Jewish book. And you have to scratch your head and say, why don't people see this? Because they're denying it. They're trying to say that Paul and James were just having, they might have had this little disagreement, no small dispute, in Acts chapter 15 at the Council of Jerusalem, where James says, well, we'll just lay this on you so this way you can get along with the Jews, that you don't, eat anything sacrificed to, with blood in it, and abstain from sexual immorality, so that this way us Jews can now fellowship with you Gentiles. And by the way, if you really want to know about Judaism, the Gentiles can always go to a Jewish synagogue to learn about Judaism. This is basically the discourse with James. And Peter stood up and said, why should we lay a yoke on the Gentiles that even our forefathers couldn't bear? This is all in scriptures, ladies and gentlemen. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?